good afternoon, Generation W, and welcome back to Refresh. As you know, or if it's your first time, now you will know that this is a time to connect, be inspired, to learn something new, and ultimately feel a bit better about ourselves and this time we spend together. I mean, what's better than spending good time with good people? So I always like to say, how is everybody? You're shaking your head like this and wherever you are, that's a good thing. I just wanted to share that today is our last refresh. This refresh is going to have to sustain you for the entire summer until we come back in September as we take a summer break. So I'm so glad that you all can join us today. And it's really, really special, as it always is. Summer is upon us. So it's heated up here in Florida, and I'm certain the northern climes, for those of you who are, I think Maggie's up north, maybe several more of you are, the warm touch of the sun will be most welcomed when it arrives. I'm looking forward to summer. It used to be because I went to summer camp. Any of you went to summer camp? And anybody wants to respond in the chat? That's great. My absolute favorite thing in the whole world to do, I would go to summer camp again. But this summer I have cleared the decks here and I've decided to do something I think I need to do, and it's important, which is just to take a breath. How about you? Taking a breath is a good thing. And while our Generation W Believe event is now in the rearview mirror, it's just 2.5 months, and I find that I am still feeling the vibrations. Maybe Patti can talk about that too. And the revelations and the learning of the experience of over 10 months of digging into the theme of belief. It's been a powerful period, honestly, of connection, of learning and contemplation. And I'm so excited to be able to continue that today, as the focus on what we believe will continue to be a guiding theme for me, not only professionally, but personally, I think actually forever, and I hope collectively for our Generation W community. In my research, I was led to this incredible platform because I really was struggling on, like, how do we talk about this always in ways that we can hear, see, and feel together in a way, open minds, open hearts. And thanks to Erica Dewan, who is our opening speaker, she who has the expertise in the power of connection, turned me on to this platform called This I Believe. I was mesmerized by it, and I remain so. And if you ever need, Ariel, if you can put in the chat, if you ever need a little pick-me-up or just perspective is so important, go and read some of these stories. I wanted to share with you actually the founding ethos of This I Believe. So Sherry, if you would.
This I Believe. By that name, we bring you a new series of radio broadcasts presenting the personal philosophies of thoughtful men and women in all walks of life. In this brief time each night, a banker or a butcher, a painter or a social worker, people of all kinds who need have nothing more in common than integrity, a real honesty, will talk out loud about the rules they live by, the things they have found to be the basic values in their lives.
And so he goes on to say, first of all, that's Edward R. Murrow. The time of this broadcast is 1950. I can't believe that's 75, is that right? My math right? 1950, 75 just about years ago. He went on to say, we hardly need to be reminded that we are living in an age of confusion. A lot of us have traded in our beliefs for bitterness and cynicism, or for a heavy package of despair, or even a quivering portion of hysteria. He goes on to say that around us all, now high like a distant thunderhead, now closes upon us with the wet, choking intimacy of a London fog. There's an enveloping cloud of fear. And you think, my goodness, wait, what? If I didn't tell you that was 1950, somebody could have written that about today. And I just think this ongoing cycle of human commonality, of emotions that appear in each and every era. And Patti and I, we're going to talk about this, and we'd love your opinions, but the stories that they've been able to connect, from Einstein to Joe Barry, who was at the, corner superstar, superstar at the corner grocery store, really lets us know how connected we are. So I'm very grateful to have Patti today. Patti McElroy, she was on our panel of This I Believe. And I want to say thank you for many of you who shared your I Believe stories, which we will share today as well. Patti serves as the president of VyStar Foundation and senior vice president, VyStar Credit Union. I call her Patti, but her full name is Patti McElroy, just so you know. She leads the philanthropic and community engagement efforts in each of the regions of VyStar serves. Throughout her career, Patti has worked to support nonprofit organizations and communities across the country and was previously a commercial litigator with a special focus in securities and banking. She's passionate about diverse and inclusive learning environments, the arts and community revitalization. I also want to share, Patti, I didn't ask your permission, I'm sorry, but she's a graduate of Yale Divinity School, graduating at the top of her class. And I have to say, Patti is all class in everything she does. She's a role model of thoughtfulness, caring, brilliance, and community connectivity for all who have the privilege to knowing her. It is a gift. And today we're happy to share that privilege and gift with all of you. Patti, you finally made it to Refresh. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm just so thrilled, Donna. What is better than spending time with you and the people who would want to be here today? It's just an honor and a thrill.
Oh, it's great. So listen, Patti, I came to you way back when. I said, we're doing this thing on Believe, and would you be part of this panel? And I explained the rubric. Tell me the process for you that you went about, because we are going to share what you believed and how you expressed it. But I also found the process to be interesting.
You know, it was interesting for me, and of course, my answer was like, "Yes, Donna, of course I will," because that's what one says to Donna, and it's also because I believe in the work that you're doing. I spent time in my life studying theology, and I've given a lot of thought about what I believe. But the question posed at this point in my life, what's happening in the world, the first thing that came to me was, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in the people around me. And so when I started to break that all down and think about what that meant, it came back to the center of that I believe that we're all made in the image of God. B'Tselem Elohim, as we discussed from a Hebrew perspective, the Imago Dei. But again, it centers me in my life to look at another person and respect the divine that's in you. And it's a very centering place for me to be. It takes me away from myself, my own maybe anxiety or worry, and to focus on people that are around me.
Wow. Well, so, this panel had amazing people. In addition to Patti, it was Akila Raman, Pat Geraghty, Lori Lee, and of course, our moderator, our chairman of the board of Generation W, Dr. Olenda Johnson. And I think you have a picture of the panel. And I think it would be great, Patti, if we could all hear. There we are. There's Olenda. Olenda, I will share with you. Olenda opened it up, and her belief was fantastic because it was short and sweet. And she said, and I think all of us can agree, I believe in the power of stories. I believe that something special happens when we hear ourselves speak our own truth out loud. I believe when we see ourselves in each other's experiences. It has the power to inspire us, to grow us, and maybe even heal us, which is why I love this so much, this sharing of stories, I believe. And so with that, the stories began, and I think, Patti, it would be great to hear yours. And Sherry, I know that you are switching gears here. Let's share that.
I believe in you. I believe in you, and you, and you, and you. I believe that goodness, the divine spark, sits within the core of your being. I believe that all of us, every single soul on this earth, was created in the image of God. B'Tselem Elohim, Hebrew, the Imago Dei, Latin, the image of God. Accepting and recognizing B'Tselem Elohim, the Imago Dei, in all human beings is the ultimate leveler. Leveling the playing field between races, religions, identities, economic and social standing, nations. For me personally, seeing the goodness, the divine spark in others provides the basis for respect, trust, empathy, hope, love, forgiveness, and the belief in myself. All of this is beautiful, and it is challenging. Perhaps a topic for another day is the existence of evil in the world. A wise person taught that evil is the utter inverse of the imago Dei. It is the absence of the good, absolute nothingness, das Nichtige in German. That is not what I see in you, or you, or you, or you. I see goodness. I believe in you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, so there you see that huge exhale, Patti. Tell me, like, how did you feel? And I would love to know and I'd love to know if Ariel says that was amazing, Patti. It was amazing.
Well, I was feeling a lot of connection with the audience and the panelists. It's not often, the piece that wasn't played was me talking about the death of my brother. I don't tell that story often, and I certainly haven't told it to people that I don't know. And I was full. I just was full of emotion and memories, and then also being present. So that big exhale was, ah, here I am. Here I
Here
am.
oh my goodness, Hineni, here I am. That's one of my favorite, actually. We talked about that earlier. Here I
That's
am.
right.
Um, so you do this, there's cheers everywhere, and then we ask poor Akila, or great Akila, she had to go after you. But before we hear a little bit from Akila, and I also see that I have it right here. Mary Sibley's on, and she created, she shared some of her I believes, and people can write in their I believes. We'll talk about them. When people talk about their beliefs, they tend to think it divides us. And yet, every one of you shared a different belief, and it felt very much a unity. There felt like a unifying force in that. What do you think that's about?
I think that when people really dig into what they believe, it's transcendent. There's a transcendence about it, something that brings us together, as opposed to being divisive. I think when we get into politics and we get into other issues, I think that those issues might be divisive in and of themselves. Um, but the heart of people, the core of people, I think we all know deep inside that we're all connected.
Yeah, but why is it so deep? Why do we have to dig so hard? I don't
Because
know.
we have to do the everyday, and we get worried. Am I making enough money? Do I have enough for my family? Can I get my kid to college? Do I All the insecurities that we have come out, and we protect ourselves. And that can come out, in anger, defensiveness, where we divide. I think that's why it's so critical you did this work, Donna, because when you ask us what we truly believe, we have to pause and look inside. And we see the things that are connective. It gives us that opportunity. It gives us the time and the space and the safety to think about those things.
Yes, and that's what I so loved about this. It really, I paused so many times to really think about that. So all of you who are with us today, please take a pause. And when you're ready, send us a note and say, and just give us a belief statement, just sharing those, that storytelling. What I think it's really true, what Dr. Olenda Johnson said, right? When we share those stories, we can see each other and even maybe help heal each other, right? Okay, let's take a look. So Akila comes after you. We're not going to show, she's like literally like, oh my God, I can't believe I had to go after Patti. But here's just a summation of her belief statement.
But throughout my life, both of my parents really modeled that if you work really hard, and as they did, because I used to sleep on the floor at my dad's practice, as they worked around the clock to set up a practice, which is now one of the most world-renowned for specialized dentistry in the world. And I watched them do it. And I think I'm my parents' legacy. And while I may not always know the most about a particular topic or frankly have the right credentials, I know that I can outwork any competitor because I saw it firsthand. And I believe in this country, and I believe in the ability to work hard in a place that values merit and how that leads to opportunity. So I believe in the value of hard work.
Wow, right? So for those of you who don't know, you saw Akila works at Goldman Sachs. She's one of their youngest partners, clearly attributable to incredibly hard work. She's a person of both Korean and Indian descent, and one of the greatest, most wonderful human beings on the planet, and they're sharing her heart, right? It's so funny how you can have friends who you talk to every week and yet never really understand the depth of their beliefs or what motivates them. I never knew the story of her mother. It's easier to get up and share your story with 1,000 strangers than tell your friend who you are.
Mhm. It's a vulnerable thing to do.
Right? But and you unbelievably did that, right? All right, I'm just checking here. Is anybody, I'm going to share their story. Here's Mary. I'm going to share Mary's story right here. We're encouraging everyone to do it. Let's see if they have the courage. It doesn't even take that much courage, but that's okay. We got it. We sent notes, Patti, to out to the community, and some of them responded. So maybe we can get your thoughts too. This is Tiffany Wilding White. Tiffany is a sports coach. We had a great session with her a couple of months back, and she wrote, "I believe in the transformative power of positive thinking, that choosing our thoughts intentionally leads to desired outcomes, that the greatest gift is kindness, and that love is the ultimate source of renewable energy. This I believe." Wow. Now that's an interesting, like that's so tight and yet so powerful, right? She touches on kindness and love and positive thinking. And that's what she uses in her practice, is the power of positive thinking. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wonderful. And I can catch myself going down that negative lane, and it takes some doing, to remind myself to frame what my experience is to the positive. And that's something, that I see in your work, Donna, the possible and the positive. And it's so important, and it's so uplifting. Um, but it's not always easy. It's not always easy.
It's funny. I think in doing this, especially the Believe work, but then all the work that we do with women and girls, life isn't easy. I don't know why we expect it to be easy.
Mhm.
But it's not like we're born with a book and said, okay, life will be hard from this year. So every time there's a challenge. But I do firmly believe, and I know you do as well, Patti, is how we take those challenges will define how we experience moving forward.
Yeah.
I have a son who plays sports professionally. We talk about it all the time, right? Sports is combative. It's competitive, right? Every single day you have to go up against somebody. At the end of the day, it's so hard about it. And I love the business of sports. Think about being in a business where only one team can win at the end of the year, right? You could be consumed with negativity in that environment.
It's true.
And yet, if you say, listen, we're going to put our best together, we're going to build great teams. So there's great things. You can find a lot of goodness in it. And then when you win the championship, I think that's why you see all this exaltation. I love, I
See?
love this, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the champions. I get that. But everybody can be champions, and that doesn't mean everyone deserves a trophy. Although I do think there is a lot of more recognition we can take in terms of recognizing the positive steps we take, right?
Mhm.
You manage a big team. You're a big boss, right?
Well,
That's
I'm wondering, do you see what Kristen wrote in the chat? Can
Well,
you
let's look
take
at,
a
I
look?
also see Ariel. I'm just going to say, I believe in the midst of all of this going on in the world, that love conquers all. Yes.
Mhm.
And it does. Imagine if we did all love each other. Oh, it'd be great. All right, Kristen, we need that positive thinking to bring up those that don't have the confidence or strength. It's such a hard task. So I'm thankful to those that share that gift. All right. How do we share that gift?
I don't know. It's an interesting team concept too, though, don't you think? That everybody on any given team doesn't have the same level of confidence and so and I find that the best leaders, the best coaches, the best CEOs provide that positive vision and direction, because it does lift up other people. I experience it every day. Here, Brian Wolfberg, as the CEO of VyStar, he's one of the most positive people I know, and it really makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. Now I'm talking about in business, but it's the same is true in your personal life.
Right. And then you find, and it's also you gravitate, like, especially the work with our young girls. We try to tell them if there are people dragging you down, don't choose to be around those people because it's so hard to get to be drawn down. It's easy, actually. It's easy to, right, acquiesce to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
All right. So I want to thank Mary Sibley. She's a new friend of mine. I adore her. I mean, I looked at her and said, we're going to always be in touch. I was invited to speak at the SAP first annual women's breakfast.
Yeah.
And I was clearly honored. The women were fantastic. Mary, we had the conversation. She said, I believe that it's my responsibility. Now, she oversees a big global team, set high standards for myself, my family, and my team. Be generous with my time, actively mentor and coach, encourage innovation without fear of failure. Just fail fast. Yeah, I wish we could fail fast. Be kind. Here's kindness again. Truly listen, not to respond, but rather to understand, and keep my promises. Mary, those are aspirational goals in addition to, I think, things that you believe in, right? It's one, and that's the other thing. You said a belief statement, and then you realize you have a responsibility to act into that belief statement, right? Like
Yeah.
after your statement, do you find yourself thinking about saying, okay, I said this? I actually have exactly what you said right here. Do you feel like, oh my goodness, I have to keep that front and center?
Always. And it particularly poses a challenge when I am working with someone or interacting with someone that I don't agree with. Um, there are people we don't like everybody in the world, and people who have really different opinions than I do.
Right.
It literally makes me listen listen with the also not just to listen, take information in and store it away. I feel like um my responsibility to another person is to be willing to be transformed by them.
Wow, that's powerful. And I know that's part of your three, and we're going to go to your three in a second. I just want to read Cynthia and thank everybody for sharing your thoughts, because that's what I was really hoping, that all of us who don't necessarily know each other would feel comfortable in sharing what our belief statements is. Cynthia, I believe in the power of love. Here we go again, in a good way. I believe we are better together. I believe a single act of kindness can touch many. Okay. Whew. Why is it then we are bombarded by negativity? Where does that come from? Like, if we just all stayed together here, all of us would be in love, supporting each other, doing good work, finding positivity. And yet, the second we go away from this, and we need these kind of communities to keep us up, as you mentioned, Patti,
Yeah.
the world that's reflected back to us is not this world.
Well, we respond to being hurt, Donna. I mean, when we're hurt, we respond. And it can be in anger, it could be negativity. It just depends. I mean, and I think in the times when we do feel hurt or we feel um, that there are, and I'm speaking very broadly, I want to be very clear. If someone is being victimized or really hurt by I have no suggestion at all that you need to roll over and play dead. That is not what I'm saying. I'm speaking kind of in a place of where you're still feeling like you have autonomy and some power. That listening becomes all the more important. But that sometimes it's human nature to respond to respond negatively to opposition. I think I really do, and I think we have to think or challenge. And for me, I'm hoping that I can be open enough, confident enough to hear another person in a way where there's some acceptance. I'm sorry, I feel like I went down a rabbit hole a little bit, but
That's okay. That's
yeah.
okay. That's really quite okay. I'm going to just start Trina. I think I see Trina. I believe that our own voices have strength to change the world we live in. Believing in our own voice is one of the most empowering tools that we have, because in our voices we can uplift others. Again, this idea that we can positively uplift others. And you know, it reminds me, I couldn't find the one quote, but when I went down a rabbit hole preparing for today. And I wanted to read as many 1950 submissions because I am fascinated by the continuity and the similarity of human behavior and ideas that exist in other times. You look at the 1900s and you read like the I'm sorry, the expression of what people are thinking and feeling, and it's the same. Yes, they didn't have airplanes maybe then, and they didn't have the same kind of technology, but the core essence of how people feel about themselves, about positivity, about connecting, right, about making the world a better place, about giving to others is always there. And so Margaret Mead, one of the most famous anthropologists, and I will make an admission, I thought about studying anthropology when I was in school, but I still love it, because what is it? It's a study of culture and people. I feel like that's the work we do. But she also talked about that, Trina. She really talked about that we have this ability to uplift others coming from the unique places in which we live. I think that's really powerful. All right, keep sharing with us some of your ideas here. Okay, Sherry's suggesting that we take a look at what Pat Geraghty, okay, Pat Geraghty, the CEO and chairman of Florida Blue. He was on that panel with Patti. Let's hear what Pat said.
I believe in the power of teamwork. My first team in life was the family I was born into, with the greatest role models I could have ever wished for. My dad did so many things, but one of the things that stood out, small things stand out to us a lot, right? My dad said to us almost every single morning of growing up, make it a great day. He did not say, have a great day. He said, make it a great day, which as a young kid, I thought, well, it's a little trite, you know. As I grew up, I said, heard it so many times, it put in your head that you had the power to make it a great day, or you had the power to make your reaction to what happened to you that day special.
Wow, right? I'm beginning to think that we should make an audio reel. What do you think, guys, everybody? We should make an audio reel of all these positive affirmations and belief statements, and that people, if they need a little pick-me-up, can just like pick one and hear it again. Christy Doak likes it. Maybe Christy will help me make it. Cynthia's like, I don't know. It's just this idea of we're getting uniformity here. We're getting confirmations here. What do you think? What do you think, Patti?
I think it's a great idea. I think
Right?
it's wonderful. I mean, it helps us get out of our own heads even and connect to something else that might be inspiring.
Right? It might remind us. We have friends at Audible. Maybe we could do it with them. Maybe we'll do it with our VyStar friends. But Pat just said, first of all, as you've heard me say many times, life is a team sport. So this idea of teamwork is so valuable, not only in our personal lives, but obviously in our professional lives as well. And you oversee and build great teams, Patti.
Aw. I've been fortunate to have great teams. You do the same, Donna. And I think, that's it's a very powerful thing, because people have been saying throughout the chat that we're better together, and we are. And
Without a doubt. Right?
teams are so powerful because of that.
Right. I'll say, this is Allison, I think. That is my saying most days of my friend Inspiration Daily Text. Make it a great day. All right, when I sign off eventually here in a little bit, I'm going to say, make it a great day. Maybe we'll adopt that as our Generation W.
Oh, I love it.
Well, because Pat, he's like our Papa Bear, right? Pat's
He
always so
is. He
involved.
is.
Allison, not Allison, Sherry Michaels, who works with one of our partner companies, Main Street America, sent in a really beautiful, lengthy, maybe we'll put it in one of our newsletters. But she said, I believe that sometimes all it takes is acknowledgement to change the entire direction of someone's life. When you take the time to acknowledge a person, letting them know you see them and hear them, You may be opening the door to conversations that allow that person to believe in themselves, to believe in their dreams, to be confident enough to make plans, and to finally take action in those dreams, action to achieve those dreams. And it goes on much longer, but again, tying into the fact that seeing each other, hearing each other, listening to each other, not being alone, all those things are really, really valuable. How do we prioritize those in the course of an everyday?
Making other people important? Is that
Yeah.
what you're asking? Or
Yeah.
letting others know you see them?
Yes.
There's I think a pretty simple answer. You have to, if it's something that doesn't come naturally to you, you have to be intentional. You have to remind yourself. You have to think about it. Before you start your day, thinking about how are you going to affect those around you? How are you going to let them know? Just a simple question to yourself, even as you're on your way to work, or as you're sitting, at home getting ready to start engagement for
Right.
the day.
Totally. I don't know what all of you keep around your desks, but mine's kind of like an organized mess. But I have phrases around my desks that remind me of good things. There's love messages from my kids, which is always uplifting. Pictures of people that I love and care about, moments. But I'm gonna read you one right now. It says, my mother gave me this, by the way. She took it out of a newspaper. We do not change the world when we whisper. We change it when we roar. In those days, I need motivation to like not shrink. I look at that and then I think of my mom. Nicole
Mm,
Thomas, I believe that my words matter. I will use them to uplift and encourage. I'm cognizant that words can also spread darkness and negativity. So true. I believe love shown through positivity will overshadow the darkness and negativity that exists.
mm.
Powerful, right?
That sounds like our Nicole.
Okay. She's your Nicole.
Well, ours. She lives into that. That is who she is. I mean, that's how I experience Nicole,
Isn't
for
that
sure.
great? How about this one from Danny Hockett? In my studies, I watched a TED Talk and they mentioned the Zulu greeting is hello, I see you, to
Oh,
open the conversation, letting people know they are heard. I love that. You know what, Danny, if you can do a little more research and get what exactly that greeting is, maybe we'll adopt that one too. All right, Patti, we always ask everybody, we're here at Refresh today. This is our celebratory refresh before the summer break. We're
mhm.
so happy to have the amazing, wonderful, honestly, inspiring Patti McElroy. She is the president of VyStar Foundation. She was also on our stage as we explored this, I believe, an incredible, incredible experience we all shared together, and one that we want to move forward. And that's why we're happy to have her today, and all of you, because this is a shared experience. Patti, we always ask everybody to give us 3 little bullets, or maybe bigger bullets, to kind of leave us with, to talk about. Yours are incredible. So let's take a look at them now. This, I believe. I'm not going to
Um,
read.
you read them.
Okay, I'll read them. Goodness resides in all human beings. Okay, that has been a theme we've been hearing from our community today. It's the basis for trust, respect, hope, and love, and the belief in myself. Okay, now you have to, now, I read it. Now you have to just give us your commentary on it.
Oh, I think, we've been talking about it all along, since we started out, Donna. That goodness for me comes from the belief that we're all created in the image of God. And that always gives me pause, to listen, to respect, to trust, to have empathy, for others, even if I disagree with them, which runs into the second. I can be transformed by those with whom I disagree. I try my best to listen. Um, and I find that when I live in that space, I don't think it's easy to always look at other people this way. But when I live in that space are my best days. Best days at work, best days at home.
Wow. You know, it's interesting. I truly believe, I think all of us want to believe there's goodness in all, but there is a tendency to not, right? So like I'll have a situation, whether it would be work related, business related, I'll come back, this person said this, and I am sure that they meant that. And I said, listen, I'm not Pollyanna, but why don't we start from the position of assuming that there might be some goodness here, that it's not malintent. And
Right.
until you explore that, again, you don't want to listen. There's patterns of behavior. We all recognize them. We want to be smart. We want to be efficient. But a lot of times we definitely defer to the negative interpretation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that again, I think that's part of human nature, you know. And which is why for me is to reset and try to assume best intent in other people.
Right. And it's important. And sometimes it's really, really hard.
Mhm.
Sometimes a person who you do not believe has all the goodness you would like can still intend goodness, but if we've already blocked them off, it makes it hard. But I think this is really great. I think we're hearing that. I think people want to feel that positivity and that
Mhm.
goodness. And I said, so if you step up and feel it, and it doesn't mean all people will. And I know you said in your talk there, and I said that in my belief statement too. My belief statement said, I believe in that there is good and that there is evil. And that was a hard thing for me to accept as well.
Yeah.
I really did. I really thought that it's hard, but it's true. All right, number 2.
Number 2 is I can be transformed by those with whom I disagree. I try my best to listen. And again, this is something that we've already been talking about. I believe deeply that looking at other people as good with a divine spark within them is really an ultimate. And I said this in my talk, it's a leveler. It levels the playing field between races, religions, identities, economic, social standing, nations, if we accept it. It prevents me from saying, hey, I'm better than you, Donna Orender. No. And it requires me to respect um, the person that you are and the opinions that you have.
Well, I love it. I try my best to listen, which is what we can only ask ourselves in a time where like I hear things and I'm like, I can't even listen to that. Now, listen, there's way extremes. We're not talking about the way extremes, but we're talking about here. And I have to understand that people look at things differently. And sometimes that's really like, wow. I look at it as cultural things at times. I remember traveling. I don't know how many of you have been to Asia and getting off a plane in Japan or China and thinking, oh my goodness, there are people who do not look like me. They don't sound like me and they don't think like me. Again, Margaret Mead spoke about that in her belief statement. It's the shaping of a culture that has on who we are and how we grow up in that culture. It's fascinating. But then you do have the political divides, the social divides, all those kinds of things. And I think, Patti, if I listen to your advice, take the time to listen and take a deep breath. Maybe I can understand a little bit better. Maybe I don't have to be as angry. Maybe I could come to a better understanding and maybe somebody can come with me and we meet in the middle. How great would that be?
Yeah. What if I actually was changed by what you think and believe and in the midst of our relationship together?
Mm-hmm. Right, right. And I think that's powerful too, right? I think that I think that's really powerful. And the ability to be willing to listen to change. I don't know, there's a lot of studies and research that has been done on brain chemistry and
Mhm.
socialization and how our identity is so tied up in what we believe. And so therefore, if we change what we believe, we have to change how we feel about ourselves and our identity. And that is so frightening that's why so often we're holding on for dear life. Like
Yeah.
our hands are like that bar on the roller coaster. We're holding on and we're screaming, no. And yet, if we can let go a little bit and open up a little bit, there's benefit to come. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right. Last one you said is I am not alone. Tell us about that.
Well, I think that comes from, being in some really dark places in my life. The example I used at during the talk was when my brother passed away, and I found myself in a really dark spot. But a friend of mine reached across the void, and I could literally feel it. I could feel it, and that reminded me deeply that I'm not alone. even when I couldn't get there myself, that the possibility of being touched when you're in a very dark place, it was life-changing for me, that moment.
And that speaks to what everyone has been talking about, the power of being seen, the power
Yes.
of being connected, the power of being open to listening, right? Because people can reach out and sometimes we will not feel it. Sherry says, I have it, the one with the mic, right? No, what I want to know, no, is the opening video we did for Believe, Sherry. Do you have that? Because I thought it would be great to wrap this up. I just thought of it. Sorry to put you on the spot. The one that we produced. Okay. I just want to say our summer break, just to remind you, our next refresh will be September 11th. We'll be in touch with, of course, a reminder. We have an amazing fall lineup and we'll reach out. Sherry, like she keeps the numbers, 100th show in November. Few program notes. If you're in Jacksonville area, we're starting a virtual World WOW Club. Of course, my vision is a virtual global WOW Club, but we're going to start in Jacksonville, Florida for teen girls. If you can give the gift of wow, it will be all the gifts that you've all talked about in your belief statements today. It's the gift of connectivity and curiosity and connection and community, of being seen, of positivity and possibility, all those great things. So if you want to recommend it to a teen girl, great, jenwnow.com. If you want to participate or volunteer with us, jenwnow.com. And finally, stay current with our newsletter, jenwnow.com. Sorry, that wasn't part of my script, but Sherry, do you have it? Because if you are, we're going to do that.
Don't stop believing. I believe in me.
We got to act like we believe in ourselves. Because when we believe in ourselves and act on it, we create possibilities that never would have been possible had we not just believed.
The word believes to accept something as true.
Beliefs create and beliefs destroy.
Whatever your mind can conceive, you can achieve.
What you believe is the most powerful thing as you orient your life.
A belief is nothing but a feeling of absolute certainty about what something means.
Know where you want to go. Believe you're going to get there.
If you hear, I can't do it, add yet.
Just the words yet or not yet give greater confidence.
We all need a checkup from the neck up.
And if you really believe in people, then why not be a game changer?
All we need to win are the fellas in this room right now. And all you fellas need to do is believe it.
Oprah Winfrey once says, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe.
The fundamental key to success is what you believe is true for yourself.
We have to be so conscious about our beliefs because they literally change our life.
And if you want to understand what you believe, you just have to ask yourself what you want. And then the thought that follows that is actually what you tend to believe.
You made me a believer.
Patti, it was an extraordinary experience for everybody. We do have now the full link of the show. If you would like it, we will share it with you. You promise not to share it with everybody else because it's just for you. Please let us know. We'll send it. It's open for the next 30 days. You can watch this panel in its length or any of the other great speakers on negotiation, on learning, on or you can meet our Barbie Wow girls. There was so much great content. Of course, Dr. Edith Eger. Please let us know. We'd love to share with you. Until then, everybody have a great summer. Actually, what I should say is what Geraghty left us with. Make it a great summer. Patti, love you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for this. Honestly, I'm going to leave so uplifted and believing, yes, what Patti said, actually, at the start, believing in you. As Akila said, believing in hard work. As Tiffany said, believing in positive thinking. Sherry, did you want to add one? Sherry, I'm going to thank Sherry.
Yeah, believing we are stronger together.
and believing we are stronger together. That's beautiful. Patti, love you to pieces. Thank
Love
you,
you.
Sherry and the whole production team. Ariel, another great job. Trina, welcome, and we'll see you in September. Oh, should I start singing? See
No.
you in September. Bye, everyone.
Bye.